So today's project wasn't gonna be what it's gonna be, but I've had a custom order come in and the window to get delivery out on this is closing quickly. So I figured I've got to do the work, I might as well double the work and film it for you guys. So let's get into this. gonna interrupt here for a quick second. Hope you don't mind. You keep sanding. Okay, cool. So guys, I just wanted to interrupt quickly to let you know about my Patreon page and thank the supporters who I've already got over there. Scott and Sam, these guys are absolute champions. They are already part of the Patreon family, and their donations go directly towards upgrading equipment to make these videos better. So if you're interested in joining up to the Patreon page, head on over www.patreon.com/JND Creations. Check out the tiers, check out the benefits, see if it's right for you. And if you do head over there, thank you very much. Enjoy. I ain't doing that. Following along here, don't worry, that was just water. You spray it down once you've got to your final grit, and that raises the grain so you can then sand again, and you don't have to worry when the customer washes their board for the first time that the board's going to get fluffy and hairy. So what happens is the end grain absorbs that water and it actually expands. So even though you've sanded it beautifully smooth, it can start to feel a bit rough for the customer. So if you wet it down first, then re-sand it, you won't have that problem. Took way longer than expected, but we finally made it through to the end of this project. The results aren't exactly what I was planning, but I'm still pretty happy with how this board came out. I didn't realize until too late in the glue up, but when I cut the recess out on the table saw, there was something amiss with my fence because the beginning of the cut started perfectly. As you can see in the pattern here, how the tip of this triangle touches the diamond. But by the end of the cut, it had moved over by about 1 mil, as you can see here, where the tip doesn't touch the diamond. What this did when I was gluing up was throw the pattern off ever so slightly, but with each segment it compounded. So we ended up with some gaps in the pattern. Now, under no circumstance would I ever recommend putting resin into a chopping board, especially if you're looking at doing like a resin river. But with such small segments and gaps, I did decide to fill that up with resin. Luckily, the customer for this one is my mum, so she was more than happy for me to try it out. And she's aware of the fact that that resin will hold scratches a lot more than the timber will. Now on the bottom of this board we've got the 4 feet, and there is some good reason for that. The feet allow even airflow on both sides of the board, and that really helps in preventing it warp over time. The other reason I tend to put feet on boards that go up to Darwin is because the humidity up there is so much more than what we have in Perth. So there's a very slight chance that when the timber hits that humidity, it will take on a life of its own and form into a different shape. shape. Having these feet on the bottom allows the customer, if they need to shave a little bit of the rubber off on any of the four corners to allow the board to sit level. Now, I know a lot of people who make end grain boards who don't like putting the feet on, and that's because they believe it limits you to only being able to use one side of the board. I can see that argument, but I also don't see the problem in using this side of the board with the feet on it if needed. But why would you need to? Just clean your chopping board down and use the one side. Personal preference though, if you make an end grain board, it's totally up to you. You don't have to put feet on it. Just make sure that you store it in an upright position, so most of the time it has even airflow on both faces. It'll help improve the longevity of the board. So I gave that board a nice soak in mineral oil for about 20 minutes before hitting it with custom grit. And I haven't used custom grit on a chopping board before, but I wanted to add that extra wax protection. If you haven't checked out custom grit yet, make sure you jump down into the description. There's a link down there to Custom Creations website. Code JND will get you 10% off store-wide. This stuff is well worth trying out. I've also been getting some questions on social media lately about how I maintain my beard in such a dusty environment. Pretty much since day one of starting J&D Creations, I've always been using the same products from the same company, and if you venture down into the description, you will find a 20% discount code for the beard knot. That's who I trust with my beard, and that's who I would recommend you try out. The code is JND20, and the products are really, really good. That's it for me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you do have a crack at making a board like this yourself because you watched my video, please tag me in your social media posts so I can check it out. Either that or just throw the hashtag JND Creations in there. I would absolutely love to see what you guys are putting together if you're getting inspiration from my videos. That's it for me, guys. Stay safe, look after yourself. Until next time, I will see you later.